Well, good morning, good day on this day of the journey. Yesterday, we were at an old bridge, which is right behind me, 300 yards or so. If you haven't viewed the video from yesterday, please just take a chance to look over it. And today, we're at the new bridge and the newer bridge behind it. There's a new bridge behind it. You can see the darker color behind the green. This bridge, this new bridge, is serving people between eastern and western central Oregon. And many people, I think, drive across that bridge. Many of the people driving there right now probably aren't even aware of the vision and the planning and the cost that it took to build that original bridge. Many people don't even see it anymore. And now this new bridge was built a couple decades ago. The green one was built a number of years back. And they drive across without recognizing the experience, the vision, the cost that it took to put those bridges up. Today we join Jesus as a 12-year-old in the temple where he was learning from his teachers. He was teaching them and he was asking them questions, deep probing questions, because remember, Jesus uses questions as a methodology for deepening discipleship. Jesus' mother and father, Mary and Joseph, were looking frantically for Jesus. They finally found him. They scolded him a little bit. And Jesus says, "Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" In a devotion, you'll read the word must. I must be in my Father's house. Everything was in his Father's house that he needed for a full and complete and thankful life. It was his way to move from one point to the other. He must. It is necessary. Day is the word in Greek. I must be in my Father's house. You know, the answer to the fullness of life, the significant life that you are seeking, lies in your local congregation, where you hear the Word of God, where you partake in a meal, where you experience fellowship of fun and support when life gets difficult. To experience that fullness of life, you must be in also your Father's house. You know, it reminds me of a story. Years ago, there was a poor man who wanted to travel from the U.S. to Europe on a cruise ship. He worked hard. He saved every penny that he could. Finally, he got enough money to be able to buy a ticket to board the ship. It was about a 2-week trip, and before he went to Costco and bought all the cheese and crackers that he could. That was all he could afford. Cheese and crackers from Costco. Once on board, all the other passengers went to the large, ornate dining room to eat their gourmet meals. Meanwhile, the poor man would go back to his room. Certainly it wasn't on the edge of the ship where he had a view. It was in the center of the ship where it was cheap. He could smell the delicious food that was coming from all of the gourmet preparation. He heard the other passengers talking about it in glowing terms about how they rubbed their bellies and complained how they got too much food and it was all so good. The poor passenger wanted to join them, but he realized he'd bought a ticket and he had no extra money, and you know, sometimes he'd lie awake at night just dreaming about those sumptuous meals that were being served to all of the other passengers. Toward the end of the trip, a man came up to the poor passenger and said, "Dude, can't help but notice that you're sitting down in your room while we're all eating the meals, and you're sitting there and you have cheese and cracker crumbs on your bathrobe." He says, "Why don't you come and eat with us at the banquet?" And the poor man said, "You know, to tell you the truth, I didn't have enough money to buy the ticket. I only had enough money to buy the ticket. I didn't have any extra money to buy all those fancy meals." And the other passenger raised his eyebrow in surprise and he said, "Sir, didn't you realize that the cost of meals were already included in the price of the ticket? Your meals have already been paid for." Do you not know that I must be in my Father's house? To make a bridge connection between a regular life and a significant life, you must be in your Father's house. In my Father's house is where the banquets are. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, would I have told that I go to prepare a place for you and will take you to myself? In my Father's house are incredible blessings. It's in my Father's house where I must be. That's where the action is. That's where a true and significant and connected life lies. Are you leading and living a cheese and crackers life? Are you living a cheese and crackers life? Don't settle for a cheese and crackers life when the banquet has already been prepared. It has a personalized invitation with your name on it. It's not an obligation where you must be. You get to be in your Father's house. Give up those cheese and crackers. I mean, it's not a part of a full meal deal. Be in your Father's house and don't sell Jesus short when you are seeking God, because He is the one who wants to give you all good things of the kingdom. Jesus said, I came that you might have life and have it in abundance, not in terms of all kinds of worldly goods and a boatload of money, but in terms of a significant life. You must be in your Father's house. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.